Hi, and welcome back to SDRTK. Today we're going to take a look at a new product from 512 Audio. They're the Academy Studio Monitor headphones. So let's check them out. Now, 512 Audio is a relatively new division of Warm Audio, and anyone familiar with pro gear has heard the name Warm Audio. They've really made a great reputation for themselves building solid gear for project studios all the way up to pro users. And so with 512 Audio being focused on project studios and content creators, when I saw that they had headphones, I wanted to check them out. They also have a couple of new microphones out, and I hope to test those soon. Now, I've let these headphones run in for about 24 hours with a variety of signals playing through them, just in case there's any time required to break them in and get the ultimate sound that you will end up with. And as always with my headphone reviews, I'm not going to sit here and just tell you, oh, these are great, they're awesome, you better buy them right now. I'm going to go through the frequencies. I'm going to try and show you what to expect when you get these headphones, so hopefully you can decide if they're right for you. And so in this video, first I'll turn back the clock and I'll unbox the Academy headphones for you. Then we're going to do some audio tests using a sine wave sweep, music, as well as a dialogue sample. We'll compare frequency response between direct recordings through the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6 and recordings made through the 512 Audio Academies using the AKG P170. Then I'll take a look at the specs, talk a little bit about the build quality, and give you my final thoughts. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox the Academy headphones. Quite a bit of detail on the package. A nice looking box here. We'll go ahead and open it up. And I will say it's pretty solid, so you're pretty much guaranteed the headphones are going to arrive safely when you order them. Inside, we also get a hard shell case, and that again is really nice. Extra protection in transport, plus generally speaking for storage. Always great to have a good way to keep your headphones, to look after them. Case has a nice two-way zipper. I really like that, so we'll go ahead and open it up. Now inside we have the headphones. Put them to the side for a minute, and we have two cables. First, there's a coiled cable, and they have pre-installed a 1/4-inch adapter on here. You can take that off if you're using the 3.5 millimeter. The other end of the cable has a locking mechanism that plugs into the headphones. So really nice to see replaceable cables with locks here. It's a straight cable as well. Looks to have plenty of length. So whatever you use says that'll take care of you, I think. We'll throw that hard shell case to the side. First look at the headphones. They do look very similar to the Audio Technica M series M50X headphones. But looking at the specs there, they don't line up exactly. So we're going to see some differences here. Padding also looks different. Really well made, really solid. Now we'll get into the audio test with these headphones. And of course, you can't hear them through this review. So what I like to do is show you what the linear frequency response is, as well as what a log response looks like, because that gives you a better approximation of how we actually hear things. So we're going to use a sine wave sweep. We'll use some music as a sample demonstration, as well as a spoken word test. So really across some different use cases, depending on what you're going to use them for. Hopefully it'll give you a good idea of what to expect from these headphones in terms of the sound quality. So first we'll take a look at the sine wave sweep recorded directly into the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. And let's take a look at the sine wave sweep recorded through the 512 Academies using the P170. So taking a look at the linear frequency comparison here between the direct recording of the sine sweep and the one I made through the 512 Academies with the P170, it would appear that there's a miss in the high end, that there's a little bit of information that's missing there. A little scoop maybe around 9.5K as well. That's really minor, but in the high end, it would appear that we're missing some information. And of course, when you think about the response curve of the P170, if anything, it has a little bit of a boost in it around 13, 14K. Very minor again. It's a pretty flat microphone, but it appears this way. Let's take a look at the log analysis and see if that looks any different. And now we're looking at the log comparison between the direct recording and the one through the 512 Academies. And you can see here that the profile looks very similar between the two. A little bit of a miss in that kind of mid to low range, but generally speaking, the shape of this graph is very similar from one to the other. And the log approximation here is really that of what we hear. The idea is to give you a better idea of what you would actually hear. And this is where the actual tuning of the headphones, the shape of them, the design from the manufacturer tells whether or not the headphones will accurately reproduce the sound. And looking at this comparison across the sine sweep, this is a very accurate reproduction of the 20 to 20,000 hertz sweep. So pretty impressed to see this. Let's go on and take a look at music. Now let's take a look at the music recorded directly into the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. Now let's take a look at the music recorded through the 512 Academies using the AKG P170. Okay, and now we're looking at the linear comparison here. So we have, again, the direct recording on the top versus the recording through the 512 Academies on the bottom. And here again, the linear shows quite a bit of missing information in that upper range. So we're not getting the same amplitude in those high tones. So you'd expect kind of a softer sound here, not getting that high presence, that airy sound. Let's again take a look at the log comparison and see how that looks. Okay, and now we're looking at the log comparison of the direct recording versus the one I made through the Academy headphones. And here it tells a little different story. Again, there certainly is a little missing information, at least it appears in the high end. I also see that little bit of a scoop in the middle, and I can actually say that I hear that. To my ears, there is a bit of a scoop in the middle with these headphones. You know, I think of kind of the classic 80s, 90s EQ, where we kind of have that V-shaped EQ with the scoops in the mid. And, you know, it's a pleasant sound. I have no issues with that, but I can pick that up a little bit. But by and large, the shape of the two graphs here are very similar. I mean, this is a very reasonable approximation of what the music was intended to sound like based on the original frequency. So, again, I have to say they perform pretty well for music. Now let's take a look at the dialogue recording directly through the Focusrite Scarlett 8i6. This is a dialogue sample to test the 512 Audio Academy headphones. And now let's take a look at the dialogue sample recorded through the 512 Academy headphones using the P170. This is a dialogue sample to test the 512 Audio Academy headphones. All right, and now that we've checked out the spoken word recordings, let's take a look at the comparison. So first up again here, the linear comparison, and looking at this is the biggest difference that I've seen so far in all the tests. It really appears that we're missing a lot of high information here. The low end shape looks pretty similar, pretty accurate, but the high end would appear to be missing. And what's interesting to me is that is not at all what I hear through the headphones. I hear, in fact, a mid scoop again and quite a bit of high end, quite a bit of presence in my voice through this. So kind of interesting. Let's take a look at the log graph. And now again, looking at the log comparison here on the spoken word direct into the 8i6 versus the recording on the Academies. This, again, looks very similar. These graphs are similar. It appears we're missing a little bit on the high-end frequencies again, but the shape otherwise is pretty similar. A little mid-scoop again on the Academies, but not a really big amount. And this is interesting to me because, again, my perception, my hearing is that there's quite a bit more highs than what this actually reflects. And, of course, this is going to be different for everyone. Everyone's way that they're going to hear these headphones is going to be different. But I think this does show just how important the difference in the design, you know, like beyond the basic frequency response of the drivers themselves, the actual positioning and shape of the ear cups makes a big difference in terms of the way we interpret the sound that we're hearing. And again, it appear pretty reasonable here. To me, it's a little more high forward, but again, I think it does a pretty good job on dialogue. Now, I tested these headphones out with some light gaming, a little bit of Halo 4 and Forza 4, and I found them to have really good dynamics, really good transient response, pretty good spatial quality for, you know, a 2-channel headphone. Again, if you want to play, you know, high-end competitive gaming, you're probably going to want a 7-channel headphone, you know, so you have that response in terms of the spatial acuity. You can hear people sneaking up behind you, over top of you, etc. And for general streaming, content creation, light gaming, I mean, the audio quality on these headphones is good. I found the response across a variety of genres, everything from music, to high energy kind of explosive sounds during gaming, worked very well. And so, if you're looking to use these headphones for light gaming, a little bit of content creation, streaming, they could be a good choice. Now, let's just take a quick look at the technical specs for these headphones. They're, of course, a closed back over the ear design. They have a rating of 32 ohms, and that's really great because they'll work with just about any device you have, whether it's a phone, tablet, could be an audio interface. Pretty much it has you covered everywhere. They use 45 millimeter drivers that are rated at 1500 milliwatts of power. So, plenty there for most listening levels that we're going to want to have. Cables, of course, includes two, as I said in the unboxing, a 9.8 foot straight and a 4.9 foot coiled. Both are 3.5 millimeter. It comes with a 1/4 inch adapter, of course. And the end connecting into the headphones is a 2.5 that has a locking feature on it. And this is not the same cable as on the Audio Technicas. So again, the design is a little bit different. The same thing applies with the diameter of the driver, the input power, and that the ratings are a little bit different than the M50Xs. So not to think that these are just another version of the M50X. They definitely stand on their own with some specs and design and engineering elements unique to 512 audio. Of course, they include a hard shell case as well. And I've included a frequency response curve here. Again, this is the one we measured in the audio tests. And I've done that because there really aren't a lot of other specs that are provided for these headphones. Really, that's why I wanted to get them in and test them out for audio so we could figure out what to expect from them and kind of some good use cases. So let's just take a look at the build quality. When I look at them, they're certainly metal construction. Everything is really solid. No issues or worrying about anything happening to them. Of course, plastic around the ear cups themselves control the weight on them. They swivel to the one side, not the other, and up and down as well, all the way around actually, but not up. You can't fold them up. They do, of course, open and close on either side. You can definitely feel the stops along the way, so that's good. The connection, definitely great here. I mean, removable cable, and it does lock in and out, so when we put it in, it's not going to fall out. Again, we have both the coiled and straight cable, so really good there. Nice padding around the top, really comfortable to wear. I tested these out. I wore them for extended listening, trying them out with some music and also a little bit of gaming, and I found them really comfortable to wear for a long time. The openings, the ear pads themselves are not overly large like some other headphones. They fit my ears, but again, that's a matter of personal preference. But overall, I would say the build quality for a headphone in this price is very good. So now that we've run the audio test and we've taken a look at these headphones, let me give you my final thoughts on them. I think these are really well-made headphones, and I have to say I do enjoy listening to them. I really enjoyed listening to music in particular. I kind of like a bit of a bass and treble emphasis with a mid scoop. So personally, for music, I found that to be very enjoyable to listen to them on. Again, for gaming, I think you absolutely can do some light gaming on these headphones. If you need a set of headphones, it's going to be good for kind of everything. You do a little bit of streaming, do some Zoom calls, that kind of stuff. Like to listen to music, want to use them on an audio interface, a phone, that type of thing. Again, I think these are a very usable headphone. If your primary use for them is going to be for mixing, I think you need to be aware of that. There's a little bit of a scoop in the mid, and the highs, to me, again, they seem emphasized, even though the tests don't show that. So again, that can be a little bit, as far as the tuning and the variance between, the shape of my ears versus the microphone that I'm using for the recording. So, no test is going to be perfect for everyone. All our ears have a slightly different shape, and that really affects the way we interpret the sound coming in. But again, I'm trying to give you kind of as best I can an idea of what to expect from these headphones without me just saying, yeah, they're great, this is for me, and, based on my opinion. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. But in general, yeah, I would say they're really good. If you want to use them for mixing, you need to be aware, again, of that little bit of a variance across that perceived variance from flat. But again, I think they're very workable. Any set of headphones is not going to be dead flat. Really, at almost any price point, it's hard to get that. Even some of the other more expensive headphones I work with really don't have ideal flat curves. A lot of times we learn them over time. But overall, I think 512 has done a really nice job with these headphones. They're comfortable to wear. No problem wearing them for a long time, even in a closed back design. And so, yeah, very surprised. I would definitely recommend them. I think there's a lot of value here. And if you're into audio gear, recording, streaming, microphones, headphones, mixing. Check out one of the other videos on the screen. I hope this review helped you out. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.